what were you kind of into? Like, and how did that kind of transpire into you having this kind of inkling to get into the film industry?
I always wanted to act.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I don't know what it is, like they say some kids growing up, they know what they want to do immediately. Some kids have no idea. Adults don't even know what they want to do, I knew at an early age, I didn't know how I was going to do it. I don't know how to go about it, and coming from an Asian family, like my mom and dad, they don't know that world,
Yeah.
So I would ask them like, hey, I want to be an actor. And I heard you need an agent, right? And they're like, oh, you're not going to do that. Like,
you're already Asian. What are you talking about?
No, I know. So like, like I was bugging them about it, and it was just kind of like, okay, yeah, he's just young and stupid, and he's just asking for, he wants to play kind of thing, right? I think I remember when I was in junior high, I used to go to John Burroughs here.
Okay.
They asked for extras, and I was like, dude, I want to do it. I don't know what the hell an extra is.
You just want to be on set.
Yeah, they were like, we'll give you free clothes.
Yep.
So it was we were extras as like it was like a PE kind of thing. So I showed up. They gave us free clothes and all this stuff, and then I got a stomach ache, and I had to leave because I was gonna shit myself. Oh, no. I was there waiting. Like I didn't know how any of that stuff.
Burgers on Beverly.
No, like I was just eating. They had Crafty out. Just a bunch of kids. So I was just like, oh my God, this shit is dope. Dude, like you get free food. I don't know what happened. I got a stomach ache and I couldn't shoot because we were sitting waiting, right? But I got to watch the actors. Yeah. I saw them doing takes, and I was like, this is movie making. And it completely changed the way I watched movies. And back then, like we're watching VHS.
Yep.
They didn't have behind the scenes, but they would rarely have director's cuts, right? Or at the end of a movie, they would sneak in like behind the scenes footage, and I would catch those, and I was hooked, man. Like that's what I wanted to do. But because my parents were like, yeah, no, you're not doing that shit. Like we're not even helping you. And I didn't know how to go about it. No social media, no internet.
Yep.
I got into music because music seemed a little bit more viable and, something I could do. So I got into rap. Okay. I started rapping. Yeah. And two of my childhood friends, we started a rap group, and we started going around LA.
Can you still rap?
Yeah, I can still rap.
Yeah?
Yeah, but it hasn't been a while. That's a whole nother lifetime ago, man.
Could you freestyle right now for us?
No, I'm not a freestyler.
No? Do you have anything written down you can do? I'll drop a beat for you.
Maybe next time. It's been a while. That's a whole nother lifetime ago, man. But I was doing that for a good long time, and we made some strides. And that's when like Asian hip hop artists were kind of breaking into the industry. Yeah. They were getting songs on the radio.
Yep. Fort Minor.
Fort Minor.
Fort Minor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Far East Movement. I don't know if you.
Far East Movement. Yep.
Yeah. So I grew up with those guys.
Yep.
Dumbfounded, all of them. Like we all came from the same neck of the woods.
Yeah.
What changed for me was I had my son, and the recession hit 2008.
Yep. I remember that time.
And I was done. Like I got laid off. Nothing. Nobody was hiring.
Yeah. By the way, when people are listening in and not watching on YouTube, you should be watching on YouTube because it's a way better experience. But if you're listening on Spotify or Apple or wherever, Al Chang is not a typical college graduate. He is not of the normal age that most on the average college graduate is usually around, especially grad school is like 25, 26.
Right, mid-20s.
So yeah, he's up in my world. But yeah, so how you had a kid in 2008.
Yeah, 2008. Hits. Yeah, I was actually working as a paralegal for an entertainment law firm. I was there for a few years. Recession hit. Everybody got laid off. Lawyers, all the way down the chain.
Yep.
And overnight, it was just all done. Nobody was hiring. Luckily, my friend was a recruiter at an army right here on Hollywood.
Okay.
I hit him up. I always wanted to join the military in some fashion, right?
I always wanted to make movies, and I always wanted to join the military.
No, it's just, just little things that I was interested,
Yeah, no, that's such a different end of the spectrum, though.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
So I hit him up, and I was like, hey, man, you think I can join? He was like, yeah, just come in, and, But during that time, I smoked a lot of weed, like a lot of weed. So every week I would go in to do a piss test.
And fail.
And fail.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that all of that stuff got stuck in your fat. So I quit when I had my kid.
It can stick with you for weeks, if not months.
So sometimes. I was working out, and it was breaking down into my urine. So every couple weeks I would go in, do the piss test.
And you're like, I have not smoked or nothing.
Yeah, and he was like, dude, you can't keep doing this. I was like, I'm not smoking anymore, man. This shit's coming out of my fat, dude.
Yeah.
Finally, I worked my ass off. I got in, and the whole point of joining the military was for the benefits. So that I can go back to school.
Yeah. Become a filmmaker.
No, that wasn't. Really? Yeah.
Not even at that point. Okay.
No, military thing was like, okay, the option to stay in the military, because I joined at like 28.
Yeah.
Right. So I was running around with like 19, 18-year-olds. My body, I was like super fat. Yeah, I was hurting. Right.
Yeah. I mean, what they don't understand is like when you get into basic, you have no access to weed anyway. So like, they should have just like, hey, all right, you want to come in?
No, seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went in with the hopes of just like, using my military benefits to ultimately make my parents happy.
That's right. Cool.
To go back to school and get some kind of secure job. Long story short, I got out the military. I started going to school, and I tried IT. And I also was looking into X-ray tech.
Okay, yeah.
And I tried all of those things for a few semesters, and
dude, X-ray techs and
they make money, man.
Yeah, people that take blood, just like I can't remember what those are called, but like people just like
right.
What is it? Phlebotomist. There you go. Look at you with the big words, Craig. Phlebotomists. I have a buddy of mine that does. He actually helps with putting in stents.
Oh yeah.
And with people that have heart attacks and such,
right.
And like,
man,
dude, people make really good money doing that stuff.
Absolutely, those are secure jobs.
Yeah.
And I tried those things for a few semesters, and I was like, dude,
this is not you.
I can't do this shit. Yeah. I would not be happy.
Yep.
I was already like in my 30s. My next 20 years not the same as an 18-year-old, right? Yep. I have kids. So it was just pretty much just, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to fail at it. I'm going to do something I want to do. And I want to fail on my own terms. And I wouldn't be able to look my kids in the eyes and be like, hey, go and do what you want.
Go pursue your dreams, even though Daddy didn't.
Exactly. Yeah. Whatever it is that's going to make you happy, how would I be able to tell them to do it if I'm just dying at a 9 to 5, right? So that was my biggest thing. Like, dude, if I'm gonna lose at this game of life, it has to be on my own terms. I have to be able to make those calls and just do it, And I had the opportunity to do it because of my time in the military and the benefits. Without that, I wouldn't be able to do any of this at all. There's no like 50-50.
Yeah.
And with the support of my wife, because she knows this shit is 1% chance that you might be good at it. You know what I mean? Like, or even make anything, right?
It's difficult.
It's
very difficult.
Filmmaking.
A lot of different pieces than just being a good filmmaker.
Oh, man.
Understanding the business side, understanding how to work with people.
Right.
Because you need people in order to get things done. How to network, because you need to find good producers and financiers, and there's a lot of moving pieces. And then once you make something, how do you get it out? And distribution and
absolutely
and all those games, and like festival strategies if you're going that route before you even get out. I mean, there's so much to this industry, and they don't teach it in film school.
They don't teach it outside of film school.
No.
It's even harder to learn.
Yeah.
People in film school are still trying to figure it out.
Yep. Because, well, there's people that have figured it out and be successful with it.
Yeah.
They don't want to share those nuggets because
then
you're going to be competing against them. So
right.
People are starting to share stuff now that, like, I mentioned Dan Mervish earlier. and even John Fitzgerald, they're all about sharing the nuggets that they've learned over the last 20 to 30 years, because it's their time to teach and educate and all that stuff. And that's why we're trying to do that with the festival, is to really give information back out to people like yourself and other filmmakers that are just coming out of college that weren't taught that, even in a grad program.
Yeah.
Like they just don't touch on it.
They don't.
They're teaching you how to work equipment. They're teaching you how to, make sure the lighting is proper and make sure, the sound
how
is
to get a permit.
How to get a permit and how to get creative in using different sets, or how to make sure you can afford, like, I don't know if they talk about financing, but like how to afford and do line budgets and all that stuff. I mean, that's probably what they're teaching at certain points.
Yeah, they do. They teach that, but it's all for the respective, like for the producers who are only learning that.
Yeah.
Like the editors will never take those classes.
True.
So if I want to be a filmmaker, I got to figure that stuff out on my own.
Yep.
I can go sit in on those classes, but they coincide with the classes I got to take.
Yep.
So
it is nice that you have a little bit of a background in business, though,
yeah,
in finance and everything, because that does help. I'm sure that translates a little bit just to understand that, because there's a lot of filmmakers that do not understand that.
Working at the entertainment law firm
really
opened my eyes to how this business works.
Very cool.
And it is shady.
It can be.
It can be very shady. But I figured out how to go about it without losing myself.
Thanks for spending your time with us today on the More For Me and You podcast. If you've made it to the end, we appreciate you. Now, go do us a quick favor. Please like, comment, and share this episode. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode with the incredible guests we have coming up. You can also follow us at Momi2 Podcast on Instagram and on TikTok. Oh, and for your next movie night, check out the Momi2 app. It's free and packed with amazing movies and shows you've probably never seen. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you in the pod.